Hello traders, this is Jim Comiskey coming to you live from Archer Daniels Midland Investor Services. It's currently Monday the 12th at about 12:30. Sorry I'm posting so late, it's actually been somewhat busy. Having said that, the markets have gone decidedly quiet. Basically I've always said to people, there was a gentleman last week who had been posting, when are the Greeks going to announce the level of participation, in their debt swap last week. It was, I forget what time I had, and it was legit. That was the time. Having said that, I've always said markets are entirely, they consist entirely of human beings. Well, other than, very high frequency trading algorithms, but that's another issue. Markets consisting of nothing but people, okay, exhibit human tendencies. And right now, it's just quiet. It's taking a rest. We do have a lot of potential market moving events this week. Okay, starting with tomorrow, we have retail sales. All right, that could be a very big number. The FOMC announcement, 1:15 tomorrow afternoon, my time. The export prices. We got the Bernanke speaking on Wednesday. Thursday, we got initial claims, Empire State Manufacturing Survey. We also have Producers Price Index, and Friday we've got Consumer Price Index, Industrial Production, and Consumer Sentiment. Okay, so the markets are just taking a hiatus here ahead of all these releases, events, if you will. But speaking specifically to the gentleman that was commenting about the Greek situation, why the markets weren't moving really quick, fast. A lot of times, again, how we react to a statistic, okay, is basically how it actually prints or paints the tapes or comes out in actual number form relative to what the market had been expecting that number to come in at. Okay, so if say CPI, we're looking for up 0.2 and it comes in up percent, okay, that's going to be very bearish for stocks. It's good. It's basically perception versus reality. All right, we're perceiving that such and such is going to come in up 1.3 retail sales tomorrow. If it doesn't, if it comes in lower than that, it's going to be basically a bearish number. If it comes in above that, it's a bullish number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Greek event had come and gone, okay, because that participation rate had been priced into the market, okay? And there's only one way to know that, is that's after the, when the actual event or statistic hits the tapes. Okay, how the market reacts. You got to try and listen to what the market's telling you, not the other way around. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the. Every time I see this Jay Carney, this White House spokesman, I just get angry. Okay. This is courtesy of Zero Hedge. Okay. The Ministry of Propaganda, Jay Carney, and his media minions are announcing that job growth is on a tear. You remember last Friday's jobs report? Okay, the best jobs growth since 2006. Okay, over the past 6 months, the number of people who are employed has risen by 2.3 million, an average of 385,000 per month. That's the best jobs growth since 2000, when the dot-com bubble was in full flower. Since August, the unemployment rate has fallen by 0.8% to 8.3%. For adults over 25, the jobless rate has fallen to 7%. Okay, so let's look under the hood here, okay? Basically, 385,000 jobs created per month in the last 6 months, okay? I'm going to without seasonal adjustments, and this is in the BSBLS. Forget about the BS part, okay? But don't. The Bureau of Labor Statistics website, okay, bureaulaborstatistics.gov, okay, you can find all these numbers, okay, all the charts, everything, in the jobs reports themselves, okay. Remember now, 385,000 a month, last 6 months, in the jobs report itself. If you take out the seasonal adjustments, just since 2012, okay, since January, all right, we're at March 12th. Okay, so we're 2.5 months into this year. Take out all the seasonal adjustments. Okay, the BSBLS puts into these numbers. We've lost 1.8 million jobs, January and February. Okay, I'm going to let that sink in here. We've averaged 385,000 jobs per month in terms of growth over the last 6 months. No, we haven't. Okay, no, we haven't. There's another way to look at this, okay? Let's look at U.S. tax receipts. Okay, income tax. All right, that people pay to the U.S. as a whole. Okay, I'm going to put this chart up. Okay, you see that we are at 05 levels. We are 2005 levels, this being this year, in terms of the federal income tax receipts. Now, if we had been creating all these jobs and the jobs with growth was the best since 2006, how do you explain the tax receipts are basically down below 05 levels? It's impossible. Okay? There are many other ways of looking at this, and you know, I don't want to bore you too much. But, all right, here's another thing that I want to point out. All right, here's a chart. Okay, over 40 weeks is the amount of time your average person is out of work these days. Over 40 weeks. It's never been that high. It's never taken that long for people to find a job. Okay, this chart only goes back to 1967. Check that. It goes back to 1948. All right, and look, seriously, look at how high we are here versus like a statistical norm, which is usually approximately 18 to 20 weeks of unemployment. We are north of 40. Okay, and yet the job growth is on a tear. It's the best growth since 2006. Average of 385,000 jobs a month have been created over the last 6 months. This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics own site, okay? Another way of looking at it is this chart down below here. I won't bore you too much with it, but basically this is the percentage of the U.S. population that is actually working. It's basically matched its 1980 levels, okay? Okay, right. Job growth is on a tear. You know what? Just do your own homework, do your own study, read between the lines. As my buddy Rick Santelli always said, you know, when I first came into biz, it's like, look, you know, don't just take the statistic at face value. You know, read between the lines. You know, because you can basically with any kind of I've said this many times in the past, any kind of like a survey, you can get whatever results you want to get, depending upon how you structure the questions. Okay, how BLS gets their numbers, well, carry that. Okay, you can get any unemployment rate, any non-farm number you want. Okay, depending upon how you seasonally adjust. I think the market's kind of caught on to this. Well, obviously, that's why volumes are so dramatically lower than they have been for years. Even when you get a big non-farm report, people just don't. The market doesn't believe these stats anymore. Okay, like, you know, consumer price index, producers price index. Let's factor out food and energy. Okay, I've done this before. I'll do it again. I mean, seriously, 8 to 9 to. The vast majority of the time when you and I pull our wallets out of our back pocket or our purse or whatever, okay, it's to do what? A couple things here. You can categorize food and energy, okay? But these price hikes that we're seeing in food and energy are transitory, according to the Bernanke. I disagree, okay? All right, I'm going to move on. Oh, this one. First of all, this is courtesy of Phoenix Capital. Okay, the EC is actually masking the accelerating deposit flight from Italy and Spain. All right, I won't bore you with this too much. Okay, but basically it looks like there's a massive flow of funds from Italy and Spain to Finland, Germany, and Luxembourg. Okay, so we all know that you know, the German, well, the Spanish and the Italians have issues here, okay? It's about to get a lot worse, okay? Because they're not going to, your main Italian and Spanish banks aren't going to survive any kind of stress tests, no matter how much those tests are cooked, okay? All right, this one a bit incendiary, but young Teddy Slope asked that I address this. All right, this is courtesy of Fox News, but it's all over the web. Okay, the Justice Department has filed an objection to the Texas voter ID law. If I get in trouble here, Ted. Yeah. The Justice Department is objecting to a new photo ID law in Texas for voters, saying the state has failed to demonstrate that the law is not discriminatory by design against Hispanic voters. Fair enough. Okay, the department's head of the Civil Rights Division, Tom Perez, wrote a 6-page letter to the Texas Director of Elections saying that Texas has not sustained its burden under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act to show that the new law will not have a discriminatory effect on minority voters. Fair enough. Okay, now let me see here. This, I mean, it's real obvious where we're going with this. All right, so Texas is the second state to have its voter ID law challenged. The Justice Department already blocked a similar law from taking effect in South Carolina. This is the first time a voter ID law has been rejected by the Department of Justice in over 20 years. Okay, and now all of a sudden there's another one, Texas, over 20 years. All right, I'll just continue here, and I quote, throughout the pre-clearance process, Texas consistently failed to produce info showing the law would not have a discriminatory impact on minority voters. The Voting Rights Act exists for this exact purpose. Fine. Protect the ability of all Americans to access the ballot box. Here, provided they're here legally. Okay. As for the Texas law, Perez, all right, again, this is the department's head of the Civil Rights Division, Tom Perez. He wrote that while lawmakers offered to make election identification certificates available to protect low-income voters who don't already have any ID, the documents aren't free. And it creates an additional burden of traveling to a driver's license facility, undergoing an application process that includes fingerprinting, and finding supporting documentation to prove one's identity. I mean, hello, shouldn't you be able to provide all this stuff to begin with? I guess you could, and you can if you're here legally. All right, so using census data, the Justice Department argued that the law creates an undue hardship on Hispanic populations that don't have the means to get a vehicle, live extremely far from a driver's license office, or can't make it to the office during limited operating hours. You've got to be kidding me. All right, this is one of those. All right, I can't make this stuff up. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that, but I neglected to say basically, the metals here, it's gone so ridiculously quiet. Even though we got fairly good ranges, and I'm going to comment on a gentleman that left a comment late last week about how no comment on the $30 move north and the $20 pullback in gold. It's like the bulk of these moves are actually occurring in like the Asian time zone, okay, or the European time zone. I've been here since 6:45 Central, and I'm here to tell you that gold has been basically from 1692.50 to like 1703. That's it. Okay, $10, $12 range. But right now it's at 1701, down $10.50. The silver down 73 cents to 33.59. Yeah, I'm going to say this, okay, and again in response to a comment, keep stacking. Okay. If you would like to work with me, please feel free. Give me a call. My toll-free is 888-935-7979, or just shoot me an email at jim.comiskey, C-O-M-I-S-K-E-Y, at archerfinancials.com, or leave a comment in the comment chain. As you see, I'm responding to your comments. Love the two-way communication flow. But, yes, that's pretty much all I got for you right now. Look forward to talking to you. Take care. Bye.